the stuff they learned from him, they've all talked about it. The work ethic he had, he was just at a whole other level than they were. And I think all of them realized, oh shit.
Yeah. You can only get so far by being good.
Yeah. Oh, so that's what I have to do. So he passed that along. And I think he had the biggest impact on Wade.
Yeah.
Because Wade had by far the best year of his career the next year. But, and then in 2012, same thing. That's a younger team.
That's the London games.
That has LeBron, Durant, Westbrook, Chris Paul, Darren Williams.
Iguodala on that team?
Iguodala, that whole generation. And Kobe at that point, he's climbed the mountain already. He's won 5 titles. He's past his prime. He's settled into this old school gunslinger version of himself and was just on another level. I don't even think he stayed at the same hotel with those guys because he was like just more famous than everybody.
Yeah.
You know, and he's on a team with LeBron. But he was the guy, and he was the guy. I think it's really important to have the measuring stick guys, especially in the NBA, where it's like you're trying to make it. And LeBron became that guy, right? Kobe passed the torch to LeBron, and now it's like everybody's trying to get by LeBron. Mm-hmm. And then it became the Curry's Warriors teams for a couple of years. And now we're in this no man's land in the league where there's, I'm not sure who do you measure yourself against? I guess LeBron?
Yeah.
But Kobe was that guy for a long time. And that was what he really wanted too. He wanted that for years. He wanted to be that guy that everybody pointed to.
I mean, then that's what makes the Pau Gasol championships in some ways maybe not more impressive than the three-peat, but it's certainly a testament to his drive to recreate a team after Shaq. You know?
The second title he won with Gasol is a really impressive title because he's pretty banged up at that point. You know, and they both of those years he was just playing a ton of minutes, and also he played the 2008 Olympics and 3 straight finals, all that stuff, and was also at a point in his career where, like, you think about Dwayne Wade, who, if you match up Wade versus Kobe had the more titles because he was with Shaq, but the first 8 years of their career, pretty similar. If you throw out the first 2 Kobe post high school years. And then Kobe was able to just maintain a prime for another 5 years.
Well, because he had Wade did this too, but he was able to create a completely new image of himself.
But Wade couldn't totally do it though.
Yeah, it was hard for him to turn into
Wade peaked 11, 12, probably 2011 was his last year where he was like a top 3, top 4 guy. Uh-huh. And then he started because that's what happens when you've been in the NBA for 10 years. Kobe reinvents himself 08, 09, 10, 11, even 12, and has this whole second act. Mm-hmm. And that's what, when I was doing my book and trying to figure out this stuff, that's what separates him historically. And that's why he's a top 10 player ever, because of that second wave of his prime.
It's like, I don't know that maybe we will, but if the Warriors couldn't do a three-peat, I don't know if we'll ever see another team do it.
Yeah.
Which makes that Lakers three-peat so significant. You know, it's funny, you were saying in the beginning about how Kobe kind of like his playing career in the NBA is pretty much also tracks alongside the evolution of the internet and the emergence of the internet being the primary way we communicate and consume information. But those Lakers teams to me still have that feels like a different sport. It feels like a different time. You know what I mean? Like those Lakers teams felt like
with Kobe and
felt like the way kids probably talk about the 1927 Yankees. Or
right.
You know what I mean? Like I remember the "we're gonna cut your heart out" thing in the 2001 finals, and just be like, he means it. He's gonna do it. Like he's told a Sixers fan, we're gonna cut your heart out. And they booed him at the All-Star game in Philly years later. Yeah. They hadn't forgiven him, and it was like that's what that was what the kind of guy he was. He would tell his hometown fans, I am going to cut your heart out. Like that's the way he saw the game, is it was a zero-sum game.
I remember 2008 finals, Celtics win that finals. Kobe's team, Bynum was hurt. A lot of Vlad Minovich. They were like a guy short, and the Celtics were the best team that year. And they win game 1. It's the Paul Pierce wheelchair game. And then game 2, the Celtics are controlling the whole game. And I'm doing this off the top of my head. I'm sorry, but I think we're up I say I'm on the team. I think we're up 15, 17 points. I'm at the game. And there's probably
Is Boston or LA?
This is in Boston. Probably 5-6 minutes left. And Kobe just locks in. And just basically takes on our entire team. And I don't remember what the stats were, but I just remember the feeling. I think I wrote a piece about it too. The truly, truly great players, the feeling of being in the building and like the helplessness that sets in where you're like, oh my God, this guy's doing whatever we want. We cannot stop him. That's why I think over everything else, was so revered as a basketball player, because so few guys could get to that specific point. Even LeBron, it took LeBron forever, really till the 2012 Boston Game 6 to get to a point like that where he's like, I'm going to just rip everybody's heart out. I don't care that I'm on the road. And so when I think of him as a basketball player, like weirdly, that's the game I would remember first. Then the 81 point game, that was so weird. I watched it with my dad. That was surreal. Yeah. It was like his teammates. He was like a tennis player almost. He had no teammates. He's just like, I'm just doing this.
You remember the good with the bad. I remember him. I remember the not passing game against Phoenix, right?
Right.
Or no, the not shooting game against Phoenix.
Game 7,
like,
yeah,
I'm not shooting. So what the
He's like, here's how bad my teammates are. Watch this. Watch what happens when I let them, because he knew he was out.
Not on like a Wednesday night. It was like this was serious. This is serious basketball. This is playoffs.
Yeah, you know? He had some of the more petulant moments we had. I think the fact that he was able to have that post prime, second prime, and now LeBron's able to do it too. And he just wouldn't allow anything.
But
less.
You have to like I kind of like. There's no point in comparing the two because it's apples to oranges, but LeBron has managed to find a second and somewhat third, maybe you can even call it third prime, but he's managed to find this through movement, through like kind of never getting too inert in one place. If the roster isn't working out, you can always engineer something. And Kobe, obviously, like there was trade demands in Kobe's career. There was failed super teams in Kobe's career. There were breakups in Kobe's career. There were a lot of scandals, but he was a Laker for life. You know what I mean? He did that all in one team, which is kind of incomprehensible now.
And really got a full kick out of it too. I think he pretty early on wanted to go down as the greatest Laker ever. Mm-hmm. Whether that happened is a really good argument. I still think Magic was slightly better, but Kobe's career was longer. Kareem was the best Laker ever, but wasn't on the Lakers for the first half of his career, basically. Right. So there's no right answer. Basically depends on what you want. But I think Kobe probably went down as the most memorable Laker ever. Like the beginning, middle, end of his career and how long it was and how many generations it crossed. And you think all the people that are so sad today and the age ranges of it. And, you know, you have 12-year-olds who liked him just because of YouTube videos and they didn't even see him play.
Yeah.
They follow him on Instagram and they're just kind of into him and they weren't even there.
It kind of feels bigger than basketball. I mean, it feels more like Prince, you know?
Yeah.
It feels, and kind of, you think about the people, I know that this is a completely useless metric, but there is something weird about when somebody passes into the one name category.
Yeah.
Prince, Bowie, Kobe.
And Kobe, that happened right away.
Yeah. And this doesn't feel like something that's people are going to get over anytime soon. I'm kind of.
Well, I said at the top that it was the saddest NBA day ever, which is true. It's in the running for saddest sports days ever. Like even like before we popped on as Sports Center, they had Stephen A on, and he just looked like
Rachel looked like
he'd been hit by a train, and like this guy was in a lot of people's lives, and
he was around too. Like you would see, like Kobe was at Staples. There were a lot of events in Los Angeles that he participated in. He was a pretty big ambassador for the game. Probably would have been an all-star in Chicago. Like I don't know for sure, but like he was very present. It seemed like he was a big fixture in the league right now. What do you think is gonna like? Are they they're playing the Raptors? The Raptors are playing. I think the Spurs are playing right now.
Well, I think so. We're doing this mid-afternoon on a Sunday. I mean, there's never really been a sports death like this
where uncharted territory.
Yeah, I almost don't know how it's going to play out, but I could see the Staples Center becoming
a shrine.
But beyond a shrine, I don't even really know what to expect. And I don't know what to expect with these next few days.
Lakers is Tuesday.
Right.
It's supposed to be. I don't know if they're going to play that game.
I don't know what to expect in general with all this stuff. And then you think, you know, I've been working on this book of basketball pod where we've been going backwards and really diving in through the stuff of the century. We haven't done a Kobe episode yet, but he's been in these different things. The guy was in an unbelievable amount of just basketball history, really since 2000. He was in I think he was in 7 finals. He went against every relevant guy in the last 25 years and had a bunch of different iconic moments, and his name kept popping up after he finished playing. And now all that stuff is a completely different filter, you know? And this happened with Magic too. And Magic didn't die in 91, but part of what was so horrible about that day and finding out that he had HIV was it just was a death sentence in 1991. You're just like, oh, he's going to be dead in a year. And it changed the way you remembered those Laker things. And fortunately for us, Magic stuck around and is still healthy all these years later. It didn't have that shadow when you watch those old games. You feel kind of weird and I don't know how that part plays out.
I don't know what it's going to be like to watch Kobe mixtapes now. I saw a couple of them like kind of on the front page of YouTube because they're obviously getting smashed right now. People are watching a lot of stuff, and I don't know what it's going to be like to go revisit those games because so much of those games, they weren't. The thing that was kind of cool about him was that they weren't museum pieces. They were really weird.
They're gunslinger games.
He was a gunner, and he would trash talk people, and he would bully people, and he would.
But that the irony, one of the most memorable Kobe games was 6 for 24.
Yeah, and
he stinks for 3 quarters and almost shoots them out of it. And then in the 4th quarter, he rights the ship and makes there's a play. I just recently watched that game. They're up 3. Somebody misses. The ball gets bounced out. Kobe gets the rebound. He's at the foul line. He's like exhausted. There's probably 40 seconds left. And he's just like, I'm going to the basket. I am going into this sea of bodies as hard as I can. I might get decapitated. I don't care. I'm getting a foul.
Back when guys still...
And he goes in that game. That's a great game to rewatch because it's really old school. The basketball is different now. That game is all about the 6 feet around the rim and the paint and just this battle. It's like football. And Kobe just goes flying in there like a battering ram. Unclear whether it was a charge or a foul. Gets the foul because he's Kobe. It was the right move. It was smart. But he goes flying into Rasheed Wallace like a locomotive.
Yeah.
And, to me, that's the basketball stuff I remember with him. He was a badass.
Yeah.
And a really good all-around player and a reasonable facsimile of Jordan. I don't think he was as good as Jordan, but...
He's as close as we're going to get, probably.
Yeah. The last thing, and then we'll go, because I don't want to keep this going too long, because it's still pretty fresh, but I really feel bad for the Laker fans. Sports, it's games, it's stupid. We look at this all the time and wonder why we give a shit and why we're watching these random games. In January, you're watching Philly, Atlanta. There's 90 better things you could do, but it's something fundamentally about you just love basketball. You just want to watch these games, and day in, day out, these people are in your life. And, I think for the Laker fans, he's the most popular Laker. Him versus Magic, I don't know, but he's definitely up there. And, they're just never going to be the same. I don't even think, like, for Boston athletes, I guess Brady, but for us, the Celtic, probably Larry Bird, but Bird we had for 11 years and then he moved to Indiana, and it wasn't like the Kobe thing. Kobe played 2 decades. He stayed in LA.
Yeah.
He goes to the games. It was I always thought he was going to be the guy that replaced Nicholson in the seats.
I mean, he was on his way. On his way.
I don't really know if, just as a Boston fan, I don't know if we had an athlete quite like that was so universally belonged to
I'm sure
everybody.
Every city has something like that, whether it's Roberto Clemente or Jerome Brown, or you know what I mean? Like everybody's got somebody that they've lost that you feel like the sports landscape of your city was never the same after that, maybe. But this is one where it feels like the sports landscape of every city won't be the same after this.
I loved rooting against him. I respected the hell out of him. Had good interactions with him. Thought he was interesting to talk to, and a really curious guy. And I thought, I think maybe that's something that a lot of people didn't realize. He was genuinely interested in a lot of things, and this day sucks.
Yeah, he'll be missed.
Thanks for listening. We'll be back with some more podcasts later in the week. We just wanted to get this one